Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today. With your permission, we've heard several talks from a bird's eye view. I'm going to bring this for my short presentation to the level of a travel tech startup and how we see this from our prism. So it's going to be more specific, perhaps. We are Refundit. Bless you, John. We are a technology startup. Founded by myself and by Uri Levine. Uri is the founder of Waze and one of the first investors in Move It, which was just purchased by Intel for $1 billion. And we founded Refundit because we are non-Europeans who travel often to Europe and suffer the painful, frustrating, bureaucratic process of VAT refunds for tourists. And quickly, for those of you who do not know what I'm talking about, according to the law in Europe, if you're a non-European visiting Europe, you can purchase goods during your visit, leave with them, and you should be simply receiving your VAT back. Now, the average VAT in Europe is 21%, so that's a hefty discount and should be a hefty incentive for tourism. But the reality is that this process is completely broken. It doesn't work. To start with, small, medium businesses, 85% of retail businesses around Europe cannot deal with the bureaucracy, so they're out of the loop. Who can offer VAT refunds? The big brands, the big names in the centers of the big cities, so there is no support for rural economies, for the countryside, etc. And that's of course, a difficult reality. Then tourists have to fill endless forms and they have to stand in lines at the airport, sometimes 100 people in line. And then there is a final element which tourists and governments are not aware of, but tourists are actually paying hidden commissions of 40–50% here along the way, which is of course unacceptable. This is government money that by law should go to the pockets of the tourists so that they are incentivized to spend, and this of course isn't happening. Refundit was created as a tech company to disrupt all of this, to create a pan-European solution, fully digital app for the tourist, digital back-end system for governments, to really create a value and simplicity, including all small, medium businesses, meaning all rural areas, all Greek islands, if you will, can and should participate, every corner of the world, value for the tourists, for retail, and also for government through a lot of digitalization. We do understand that bringing back travel post-COVID-19 is going to be a challenge that includes many bits and pieces of creation of new realities in the different industries, how we fly, how we go to restaurants, how we go to hotels, where we vacation, how we shop, how we queue. Let's say this, there are two big opportunities here, and a crisis in many cases create opportunities. The two big opportunities are, number one, to end the over-tourism of the center of the big cities, which was a big issue prior, and really to find all of the little elements that will help tourists move over to the rural areas, to the countryside, and really support the local economies of the different countries and bring down the pressure from the centers of the big cities. Number one, take this opportunity. We've all moved now to basically live on Zoom, and we've all become techies. Take this opportunity to move to the digital era and find digital solutions that can really solve this issue. With a solution like Refundit's solution, number one, any small business in any corner of the world can participate, which is super important and allows these businesses to incentivize shoppers. Because we have a digital solution, all of the terrible bureaucracy at the airports would disappear, no lines, no exchange of documentation with the customs officers, etc. So that's important in itself. As a general statement, I'm talking to you from Tel Aviv, Israel, where we are already moving quickly out of the restrictions. We are seeing how people quickly put fear behind them and move back to a new normal and to optimism and to want to travel. So we are optimistic. We think that travel and tourism will resume faster than expected because of wanderlust, because of humanity's passion to travel. And happy to answer any questions.